If you're an N-scaler, our world was kind of rocked over the past couple weeks. It was announced that Atlas had acquired all of Microtrain's line's assets. And I have some mixed feelings about this, and I think that as N-scalers, we have to talk about this. And what better place than coffee and trains? By the way, I'm drinking some Arabica bean coffee today. If you want to tell me what kind of coffee you are drinking and have it featured just like these guys right here, you can do that in the comments below, and you might see your name pop up on an episode of Coffee and Trains. So cheers, guys. Now, I've posted a poll about this in my Model Train Media group. You can join that conversation over there. If you haven't checked out Model Train Media, it's a social media platform just for model railroaders. I've got a group over there, and if you're like me and want to get rid of all the riffraff and AI slop on social media right now and just talk trains, Model Train Media is the place. There's already over 1,000 members, and it's still growing. You can check them out at the link in the description. So I get the Microtrains email newsletter and the Atlas email newsletter, and when they both popped up in my email with this news, I was walking to lunch and my brain kind of short-circuited for a second. Now, before I go into the model railroad stuff, I do want to recognize a couple of things. This affects our hobby, and it's definitely a change. But there are people whose lives are greatly affected by this. And while it is a shift in our hobby, it is much bigger for them. So remember that. Another thing to remember is that Microtrains has had some tough times over the past 5 years. Of course, there was the pandemic, but there was also a big wildfire out there in Oregon where they are. And the factory itself wasn't damaged, but several employees lost their homes, and the factory's had its utilities completely shut off. You may remember that also as the fire that wrecked part of Train Mountain in Oregon. And also, I'm not here to trash Atlas. I personally love Atlas products, and I have tons of them. This is just really a big deal for us N-scalers. Now, before I go into my thoughts on this, I want to read a statement that Atlas posted on their Facebook page. We know the past week has brought a lot of emotion for the Microtrains team and for many longtime hobbyists who care deeply about the brand. A little context may be helpful. Microtrains had been exploring a sale for several years as the owners prepared for retirement. Employee decisions made in recent weeks were handled by Microtrains itself before the Atlas acquisition took effect. Those changes were not directed, initiated, or influenced by Atlas. Atlas' only role was expressing interest in interviewing Microtrains employees for potential job opportunities. Our role now is clear. Preserve the Microtrains product line, protect its legacy, and build a strong future for the brand. We have already begun meeting with former Microtrains employees and hope to bring talented people onto the new Microtrains by Atlas team. On a question we've seen come up often, none of the US-based tooling is being moved to China. Microtrains had some limited production in China in recent years, using the same factories Atlas uses today, but all US-based tooling remains stateside at the moment. As part of the long-term production plan, molds will currently be transferred to trusted suppliers in Vietnam, where quality, cost, stability, and production capacity are the strongest. After careful review, this is the best path to ensure Microtrains continues into 2026 and well beyond. Without this step, the brand's future would have been uncertain at best. At the same time, all the drawings, computer files, research, archival materials, and selected equipment are being relocated to Atlas in Hillside, New Jersey, where research and development, engineering, logistics, and overall product management will continue. We are also evaluating which aspects of production and assembly may continue in the United States as we balance quality, cost, and long-term sustainability. Our goal is simple: to ensure Microtrains not only survives, but thrives for the next generation of modelers. Atlas also released an entire blog post about this acquisition, including a Q&A section that you can check out, and I'm going to link that in the description below. So what does this all mean? It means that Microtrains is not going to simply be renamed Atlas Trainman or Masterline Rolling Stock. It is still going to be branded as Microtrains, just Microtrains by Atlas. This to me is a good thing because Microtrain's value is not only its rolling stock, but its parts catalog. Microtrains is the standard when it comes to couplers in N-scale, and they have coupler conversions for virtually everything in N-scale, plus the truck replacements as well as other parts, and those parts are just as crucial as the rolling stock to us N-scalers. Now let's talk a little bit about the not so good stuff. Microtrains was one of the few domestic model railroad manufacturers left in the U.S. So losing a company that's primarily based in the U.S. and manufactures in the U.S. definitely feels like a blow. It just stings. Now Atlas says that the models will now utilize Atlas Manufacturing Network, which is global and utilizes multiple countries. But as they stated in their post, there are no plans to move the tooling to China, and they are attempting to hire on some Microtrains employees. I will say that there is a trend in model railroad manufacturers, just like what they said, of moving production to Vietnam, and I've even seen one company talking about production in Mexico. I will also say that if I win a big lottery, part of my money is going to building a domestic model railroad factory. It may not be a sound investment, but I don't care. So what do I think Microtrains will look like 2 years from now? I do think Atlas is going to try and take care of the brand, and they may rebrand a significant portion of their N-scale offerings to Microtrains because it is that powerful of a brand. And let's not pretend that Microtrains just got bought by a private equity group or something. This is Atlas, guys, a model railroad company older than almost every other model railroad company in existence. And let's not act like they're a slouch in N-scale. They have a lot of offerings in N-scale, and I have many locomotives and rolling stock from them, including 5 of the 6 Blue Ridge and Western locomotives that I have repainted, and they work really well. I consider them second place to Kato in terms of reliability for N-scale. They make one of the most affordable N-scale engines with their Trainman Jeep 15, which I have 3 of. Who knows? We may even get Microtrains branded locomotives. Now, if there is one thing that I think will go away, it is the weathered and graffitied rolling stock, which would make me sad. That stuff looks really good. I've got quite a few of them on here. And I don't think we're going to get the monthly releases we were used to, which it makes me sad, but it's probably going to make my wallet a little bit happier. The bottom line is that I am not a fortune teller, but I will approach this as I do life, with cautious optimism, because I don't think Atlas is a bad company, quite the opposite. And I don't think they are some faceless corporate giant either. Those really don't exist in model railroading in the US. What I am hoping is that this is an opportunity that presented itself and they're attempting to tap into a growing N-scale market, because N-scale is growing. I can tell you that from the most recent train show that I went to. If Microtrains had to go, like the universe was going to stop existing if Microtrains didn't get sold to another company, I think Atlas is probably one of the better options. This isn't ideal. I'd love them to still just be plugging along, but it could be way worse. Companies like Atlas don't spend millions on an acquisition like this to put it on a shelf and let it collect dust. Okay, that's what I think, and I know you guys want to talk about what you think. I do ask, please keep it civil in the comments. I know that this is an emotional issue. It is emotional for me. I really love Microtrains line. I have all sorts of Microtrains products. Just please keep it civil, no personal attacks, but you are more than welcome to express your opinion in the comments. I am personally hoping for the best, and I think Atlas is going to do okay with Microtrains. So until next time, I'm Jimmy from the DIY and Digital. Stay safe, be kind, drink some coffee, and happy railroading.